Good evening and a very warm welcome to The Point. I'm Birgit and it's so lovely to be with you for another program tonight. Well, the topic on the program tonight is all about nutrition and the importance of good dietary choices when it comes to things like our immune system, our energy levels and our general health and well-being as we strive to steward these bodies that the Lord has entrusted to us. Joining me to discuss this tonight is a special guest, GP and nutritionist from Fit for Life Forever, Dr. Sue Kenneally. Sue, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Birgit.
It's really lovely to have you. I remember a few years ago you joined us for She Matter, so it's really lovely that you could be with us for the program this evening.
It's wonderful to be back, thank you.
Well, Sue, people might be just seeing you for the first time on the program, so I wonder if you'd be able to share a little bit about yourself and a bit about Fit for Life Forever.
Of course. I'm a GP. I've been a GP for many years now, and I work in the South Wales Valleys, which I love doing. And I also have a special interest in nutrition. A very long time ago, I started to realise that the way people ate and the way that they exercised not only contributed a great deal to the state of their health now, but also was a good predictor of how their health was going to be long term. And so I developed a real interest in looking at people's diets and just trying to help them eat better because it makes their health so much better.
And so when people come in with various health concerns and you offer this kind of advice in terms of nutrition, have you seen the benefits of that in people's lives?
Sometimes. I think in the UK we do have a tendency to like to take tablets, but some people do come in and say, look, I just really need help with my diet. And for those few people who've wanted to do it, yes, I've seen people change their health quite considerably.
That's wonderful, and it's actually a special time for you because you've just completed your dissertation in the area of nutrition, so you must feel very relieved.
I'm very relieved. I'm more relaxed than I've been in quite a while.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. Well, so the title for the program tonight is Optimum Nutrition. So to set the scene for our discussion, we have a short video. This is a video about the top 5 foods that we should each be seeking to incorporate in our daily diet. So we'll go to this video and be back with you in a few moments.
Having routine nutritional foods are an important part of staying healthy. Here are 5 foods that are extra beneficial for your health when you consume them daily. Flax seeds are an easy way to add a big dose of fiber into your diet. Purchase them in bulk and sprinkle them over salads, fish, yogurt, or any other meal. The soluble fibers found in beans soaks up cholesterol before it gets to your artery walls. Make a batch of chili with kidney beans, or try making a bean salad to have for lunch for the week. Blueberries are a great source of antioxidants, more so than most other fruits. Sprinkle blueberries over Greek yogurt or put them in a salad. Broccoli is one of the healthiest vegetables to eat. Sulfur compounds in broccoli helps to detoxify potentially cancer-causing compounds. Spinach is a great source of vitamin A, C, and K, as well as fiber, iron, calcium, and more. You can eat spinach raw or cooked. If you aren't a fan of the taste, throw it in a smoothie and you won't even notice it.
Welcome back to The Point, the top 5 healthy foods that we should be seeking to include in our diets. So, Sue, that's a very helpful starting point for us as we consider healthy foods. What else might we include in our daily diets to be healthy?
I think we have so many choices that it's difficult to create just one list, but general principles, I think we talk a lot about sugar. I think sugar is the bad guy at the moment, but it's important to know that there are healthy sugars and unhealthy sugars. So there are, for example, some sugars, although not very many, in blueberries. Those would be a healthy source of sugar. And similarly, we can talk about fat, and fat's had a bad reputation over the years, but there's healthy fats, such as the fats found in olive oil and the flax seeds that you were showing on that video. And then there are less healthy fats, which would be the saturated fats and the artificial fats. So it's really about keeping it natural.
Can I ask, Sue, how the fats affect the body differently? So you've distinguished between the healthy fats that are helpful to our system and those that are not. How do the healthy fats impact our bodies as opposed to the unhealthy?
The healthy fats are really good for most things. They're particularly good for your heart, they're good for your brain, they're good for memory, for nervous function. When I was studying nutrition, I think I had to write quite a few essays, and the answer to most of them was eat healthy fat, because they affect just about every part of us.
And so the saturated fats, I think they affect the arteries, is that correct, and create plaque build-up, those sorts of symptoms?
Potentially. That's what we've thought until recently. Now there's new research coming out saying that saturated fat in itself isn't so bad, but I think the evidence is still a bit mixed and we're not quite clear on that yet. So at the moment I'm still telling people to avoid saturated fat. Not completely, but I tend to still tell people to concentrate on the nuts, seeds, avocados, oils, those sorts of things.
And it was really interesting that you distinguished between good sugars and bad sugars as well. Is that sucrose and fructose?
Not necessarily, no. It's whether it's naturally occurring or not. So if your fructose is in your fruits, in your berries, in your apples, those sorts of things, then it's good, it's all good. If you extract fructose from these places and put it into something like high fructose corn syrup, and then eat unnaturally high amounts of it in processed food, then it becomes unhealthy.
Okay, it's really helpful just to kind of establish those differences to begin with. So can I ask you, if somebody's watching and they would really like to strive to have a healthy day-to-day diet, what are some food choices that people could readily make?
Readily make anything involving lots of fruits and vegetables, really. So whether you want to include it in pasta sauces, or put extra salad in your sandwiches, or just have a salad instead of a sandwich, or I saw on the video a smoothie. A smoothie is a great way of hiding fruits and vegetables, particularly, as the video said, things like spinach. I enjoy kale in a smoothie most days. I really don't like the taste of kale at all, and I know there's a fashion for kale crisps at the moment particularly, and I just can't eat them personally. But the video is quite right. You put it in a smoothie with some other fruit and other flavourings and you really won't notice it. It's a great way to get the vegetables in.
It's really helpful to get your insights about these things. Yeah. I wonder if we could just spend some time now considering the way that nutrition impacts different aspects of our health. For example, the function of our immune system. Are you able to speak about that?
Yes. Once again, it's generally all about the fruits and vegetables. If I'm starting to sound a bit repetitive, I think there's a good reason for that. It's because they really are the superstars of the nutrition world. So if you eat things like the berries and the broccoli and various other fruits and vegetables, it can significantly increase your immunity. We see a lot of benefits when people just eat healthily.
It's really helpful, Sue, and I've actually come across a few articles as I was preparing for our programs which I thought would complement our discussion. It'd be really interesting to hear your thoughts on a few of these points. This article touched on poor nutrition and the way that when we make poor choices when it comes to diet, the way this affects immune function. So for example, it says that poor nutrition has been shown to result in increased infections and to increase susceptibility to symptoms and complications from immune system dysfunction, and also it's shown to slow down healing from injury and infections. Also says here that science has shown that immune function decreases as we age, and recent research suggests this decrease is related to nutrition and it may be slowed or even stopped by maintaining healthy nutrition. I wonder what your thoughts are on some of those points.
I'd agree with all of that, actually. I work in a part of the world where some people eat very healthily, but a lot of people really don't, and they will come and tell me honestly that they really don't. And I do see those people struggling to heal more quickly than other people who eat really well. And I do think there's a big part to play. And I think I've read many papers over the last few years while I've been studying nutrition, which would bear out those findings. Absolutely.
It's really interesting. Another point that would be really great to hear your thoughts on, it's the way that nutrition actually helps with our gastrointestinal system. It says here that of the physical barriers between your internal organs and the outside world, your gastrointestinal tract is of primary importance. And it speaks about this tract being like an internal skin, but it has about 150 times more surface, which is really interesting. And it contains the largest number of our immune cells, evidently 60% of our entire immune system there, which was new for me. I didn't realise that. But it it says here the foods that we eat can provide support for this barrier or cause damage to it. And then it speaks about substances such as alcohol and how that can actually deplete or damage the function of our gastrointestinal system. And also inflammatory drugs like aspirin and ibuprofen can also harm this barrier. What are your thoughts on that?
I think there are at least two different ways in which this can happen. As you say, alcohol and inflammatory drugs can literally physically damage the lining of the gastrointestinal tract, and that can be a real problem. And I've seen a lot of people get very ill from that. Another way that food can help, which is quite new, I think, we're starting to realise that what sort of bacteria you have in your tract are pretty important, and more important than we previously thought.
Right.
So when you see adverts on TV for little yogurt drinks that will help your friendly bacteria,
Yes.
they do, but also the food that we eat can make a huge difference. And again, it's all about eating a healthy diet. If you eat a healthy diet, you will have more friendly bacteria in your gut and less of the unfriendly ones, and that will decrease bloating and irritable bowel and help you maintain a healthy weight and all sorts of things.
And I guess highly fibrous foods would help with the gastrointestinal tract as well. Is that correct?
Yes, mostly. If you have irritable bowel syndrome, sometimes you can find that foods that are high in fibre can increase bloating and gas.
Right.
But for most people, yes, a high fibre diet is definitely the way to go to improve your bowels.
And for people with the opposite problem, for example, with constipation, would you say that fibrous food obviously would help with that, but what about water in terms of nutrition?
Water's vital.
Yes.
Water is another, it's not classed as a nutrient really because it doesn't have any nutrients in it, but in this context it's a vital nutrient. It helps with all sorts of things. It helps with bowel function, and it helps with wider things like headaches and memory and concentration, sleep, and I think it helps with the immune system as well. So it's really, really important to keep drinking. Get your 8 glasses a day. It's very important. It's
really wonderful that you've highlighted this, Sue. And actually, on that note, we do have another video about the benefits of drinking water. So perhaps we could go to that and discuss this further. So we'll go to this video now, all about the importance of water, as Sue is saying. And we'll be back to speak about this more in a few moments.
First, water helps you build muscle. In addition to sustaining you through your workout, our muscles are about 75% water, which acts as an electrolyte in our body. And water helps lubricate your joints, preventing injury while you're working out and gaining muscle mass. Water can also help you lose weight. It breaks down fat and fat byproducts that have accumulated in the body, and if you drink it before eating, it acts like an appetite suppressant, causing you to eat less. But most importantly, it boosts your metabolism, which helps you burn more calories throughout the day. Water also flushes toxins from our bodies. Our bodies, especially our kidneys, straight out salt and other minerals that we take in. Without water to dilute these minerals and detoxify our bodies, we can form kidney stones, urinary infections, and other health problems. One rule of thumb is if you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated, and that dehydration causes your body to release a stress hormone called cortisol. So when you feel stressed, can't focus, or you feel irritated or fatigued, get in the habit of drinking some water. You'll be surprised how well it works, and water gives you an energy boost too, helping you get back to your normal. And if you've got a headache or feel one coming on, water's the best remedy. Pain pills may alleviate the pain, but it doesn't deal with the underlying problem. Finally, drinking enough water each day gives you younger looking skin. So does taking frequent baths, because typically dry skin is a result of a lack of water. But water doesn't just save you money on moisturizers, it actually prevents fine lines, wrinkles, and even stretch marks.
Welcome back to the point. The benefits of drinking water there. So as we watched that, was there anything in particular that stood out for you?
I must say I had forgotten that water makes you look younger. Isn't that so fantastic? So does avoiding sugar, actually. Sugar glues your skin together and makes you wrinkly.
Oh, right.
But back to water. I love the role of water in exercise. It's so important to stay hydrated for all the obvious reasons, so you don't faint and things like that. But it actually protects your muscles and helps your muscles to develop. So if you're a keen exerciser, it's even more important to drink plenty.
Well, that's wonderful you've highlighted that, because I know that you're going to be back with us for another program soon to speak especially about exercise, so that will be really helpful to discuss further. Yep. I wonder if I could just go over a few of the points of the benefits of water as we're speaking about nutrition and diet. This is an article that I found, and it highlighted similar points to what we saw in the video actually, but it would be really good to hear your thoughts on this. So The one benefit of drinking adequate water is that it relieves fatigue. And it says here that if you feel tired, there's a high chance that it could be due to an adequate consumption of water, which makes the body function less efficiently. And in fact, fatigue is one of the first signs of dehydration. I didn't realise that. Are you able to speak a little bit more about that?
I don't think there's very much more to say, actually, other than it's absolutely true. And I've certainly experienced that in my own diet, that if you're feeling down, some people say, oh, I need a cup of tea or I need a cup of coffee because I'm tired. And yes, the caffeine in those drinks helps, but so does the decaf, because it's the water that's helping as well. So it really does help with, as you said, fatigue, and as I mentioned earlier, memory and concentration.
Yes.
And
also mood. That was really interesting. It came out in the video and in this article as well. It speaks about research showing that mild dehydration, even 1 to 2% lower hydration, can negatively affect our mood and our ability to think. It goes on to talk about a study along those lines as well. But that's really interesting that it has that impact on our general well-being day to day.
Yeah, it certainly does. And it makes a big difference in terms of weight, because very often people will have a sensation of feeling hunger, and so they'll go and find some food. But our body doesn't differentiate very well between fluid and food and hunger and thirst. And if you find yourself feeling hungry when you wouldn't expect to be because you've just eaten a reasonable amount of food in the recent past, try having a big drink of water, because it could be just your body telling you that you're thirsty.
That's really helpful that you make that point. And also, in any case, what I've read about water is that it's a natural appetite suppressant. So even if you were just to drink 1 or 2 glasses of water before a meal, it would actually help if weight loss is the goal. Is that correct?
It is correct. That does work. Yeah.
Yes.
And foods containing fluid also will help with weight loss more than solid foods. So things like soups and smoothies are really good. They keep you fuller for longer because they have the water in them.
How does water help our metabolism?
I think, as it said on the video, it's mainly that it helps the body to detoxify. So your kidneys are one of the main ways that your body gets rid of toxins. Mm-hmm. And if you have plenty of fluid for your kidneys to deal with, then they can eliminate toxins more quickly. So it's all good.
Really helpful. And another interesting point that came out in the video and this article is about headaches, because it may be that people who suffer with headaches might not realise that it may have to do with being dehydrated.
Sometimes it is that simple.
Yes.
It is. And I've some experience of this clinically as well with patients. I say, well, just try drinking, and they come back and say, you're so right, that worked. So I'd recommend it.
If it's really difficult for some people to drink water, if they're really averse to drinking it, can you make other suggestions in terms of people being adequately hydrated? Are there other ways that people could consume water?
I think it doesn't really matter too much as long as you're getting the water in somehow. So I'd avoid anything with sugary flavourings. But if you have any natural flavourings, I like to put just a squid of lemon juice into water that I drink. Herbal teas are great. Coffee and tea are fine. There are quite a few benefits to caffeine we're finding these days. It helps to prevent or reduce dementia and that sort of thing. So caffeine isn't quite the bad guy it was thought to be a few years ago, but a lot of people don't like to take a lot of caffeine for other reasons. So you can try the decaffeinated drinks. There are lots and lots of options. It's all about just getting fluid in.
It's really helpful. So it's great to have spoken a little bit about the benefits of water, but returning to diet and nutrition, we've spoken about the way that Optimum nutrition helps immune system function. Yep. What about energy levels day to day? If somebody was to eat well, how does that benefit our general energy levels?
It benefits them hugely. I think the main thing that I see day to day with patients is thinking about the glycemic index, which a lot of people talk about. That's the effect that sugary food, and in fact most foods that we eat, have on our body. So if you're eating things that are quite sugary or quite processed, within a very short time after eating them, you'll find that your sugar levels will go really high. You'll get a real buzz, which is why you like eating them. But then your body will correct that and bring your blood sugar crashing down, which makes you hungry and grumpy and gives you difficulty concentrating. And so you'll find yourself going for more food. And because you're hungry and grumpy, you'll automatically choose the less healthy options, or most people would. and so your blood sugar shoots up again and then comes crashing down again, and you just end up on this up and down cycle throughout the day, and it makes you feel exhausted. And if you eat healthy food, which keeps your blood sugar relatively stable, so again, these are things that are the healthy carbohydrates, and just general healthy fats and good proteins, they will keep your blood sugar stable through the day, and that's really energizing. That feels great.
So if somebody is watching Sue and they recognize themselves in the cycle that you're speaking about, and they think, right, well, I'd love to move away from having so much sugar in my diet. I wonder if you could speak a little bit about what they might expect as they make that transition. How will it affect their health and well-being?
You should expect within a few days to really start to feel a lot different. If you just substitute, say, sugary breakfast cereal for things like porridge, and instead of having a white bread sandwich, have something, a salad with some good chicken or protein or something in it for lunch, and try and snack on nuts or seeds or oatcakes rather than traditional sugary sweets, you'll probably find that your blood sugar stays stable throughout the day, and you don't feel the need for the afternoon nap, and you'll get to the end of your day with still some energy left.
Really helpful, Sue. Thank you. We have 5 minutes left on the program, and I do have a couple of questions I would love to ask you, particularly about diets that are on the market, because I'm aware that as we've done programs, we hear from viewers, and even in my own circle of friends and family, there are people that try very different diets. Often it involves eliminating whole food groups, for example, eliminating carbohydrates or meal substitution in terms of shakes. I wonder what your opinion is on the diets that are available on the market.
Okay, the first thing I would say is if you're going to use one of those, use one of the mainstream ones, because they've all been checked out and they're all healthy. And if weight loss is the goal, what we say as a profession is the right diet for the patient, assuming they don't have any medical problems, the right diet for the patient is the one that they'll stick to and enjoy. So, for example, if I want to lose weight, there's no way that I can go on a low-carb diet, because it just makes me miserable and tired, whereas Sue Prosser, who's one of the other leaders of Fit for Life Forever, absolutely thrives on a low-carb diet and loves it, and all her aches and pains go away and she has more energy. And then there are other people who are living just a crazy busy life, and for them the answer is a meal replacement. So it really just depends on your lifestyle and your food preferences, but just pick one you're going to enjoy is the answer.
That's very helpful. And in the remaining minutes, Sue, I wonder if I could ask you about nutrition when it comes to our devotional lives. Do you view diet and the choices that we make as a devotional, a stewardship issue?
Absolutely. Quite a long time ago now, maybe more than 10 years ago, I suddenly realised personally for me it was an issue. And that's why I got involved with Fit for Life Forever, because that's what we like to teach people, is that the way that you treat your body really does matter spiritually, that your body is a gift that you've been given to faithfully steward, and you have a responsibility, just as with your time and your talents and your money and all the other things that you have a responsibility to look after it. And if you do look after it, then you have so much energy and so much opportunity to enjoy the creation around us. So why wouldn't you look after it?
That's so helpful. I wonder, Sue, if you could share more about the ministry Fit for Life Forever. There may be people watching who are interested. Would you share about the work that you do?
I'd love to. We're based mainly as a website, which is fitforlifeforever.org. I think I've given you those details already. And there are some resources there. There's a book called Stop Dieting, Start Living, which is all about being transformed by your mind. We don't worry too much about your diet. We start by looking at getting you healthy emotionally, and then good eating will follow, or it should follow. And we talk about a spirit-led appetite, where we just follow God and let him control our diet as well as everything else.
Can I ask you about that in the remaining couple of minutes? A spirit-led diet, actually really bringing our dietary choices, this area of our lives, before God. Can you speak more about that?
Yeah, I think it's very intuitive. I think people will look at a plate of food and they know whether it's going to nourish them and make them healthier, or whether it's going to damage them. Generally speaking, there are some exceptions. And for us at Fit for Life Forever, it's all about having a plate of food in front of you that you know nourishes you and makes you healthier and gives God glory, because you're being obedient to him by looking after your body. And if if you're not sure, pray about your food. Pray about your supermarket choices, pray about your online delivery, pray about your food cupboards as you're choosing a meal, and just let God lead you as he does in so many other areas.
And the amazing thing, Sue, is that Sue Prosser, who you work with at For Life Forever, her testimony is all about the grace of God, the power of God transforming this area of a person's life. So God is so faithful and good in this area too. Sue, thank you so much for joining us on the program this evening. I know you're going to be back with us soon to speak about exercise. Thank you for all of your input. It's been such a blessing having you. And we hope that the program has been an encouragement to you. We look forward to joining you again at the same time next week. In the meantime, may God bless you.